nerds can't decide what to read. So for God, I'm not starting like that. That's stupid.
That was pretty fucking stupid. I can't believe I let you do the intro. You fucking. Did you? It sounded like that was premeditated too. Is the worst part of it.
It was. Okay, so this week's topic is manga versus American comic books. I'm not editing any of this.
Please don't. I want everybody to know what an absolute idiot. Alright.
Okay.
Let's get right into the news. I'll try to keep my clicking sounds to a minimum. I had to set up my mic pretty quick, and it's close to my mouse again because I didn't have time to set up the arm. But, so I need to do research as we're debating because I didn't have time to do research prior to this.
Oh God, I'm going into this blind as always.
Okay. I mean, you know, I guess we don't need to do that much research because this is something... Well, I said that last time before we started talking about currency, and look where that fucking went. So...
Yeah. Okay, so you're a big weeaboo, and I grew up on Marvel, so this shouldn't be too hard.
How dare you?
I'm sorry, otaku. You're an otaku.
I prefer the term... Japanese fluid.
Oh, this is gonna be fun.
My fellow Nihonjin out there.
Okay, so right off
hit me up on Hentai Foundry.
Okay, right off, where are we starting? Because this is pretty broad. Are we going to start with the art, the story, the presentation, the marketing? Where are we going?
I guess just, why don't you go ahead and make your case for why your preferred type of comic appeals to you more.
I like them both so much. But, you know, if I was going to make an argument for American comics, I would have to go to the 1980s. Because that's when I felt like Marvel was producing the best art.
Right.
Like, it looked like all the suits were painted on, and they were just muscled out of their minds. You know, they felt superhuman.
Yeah, and that was the point.
Like, yeah, like it made Superman. It put Superman to shame, you know, and just the blood and just the violence. It was over the top, and the story arcs were dark and beautiful, and I just always thought that was a lot better than anime, because.
Than manga. We're not making a case for anime. We're talking about comics specifically. We may branch out into animation later, but for now it's...
Yeah. I don't know. I just always loved it because a lot of the stories weren't as fantasy... Like, they were fantasy-based, but a lot of them hit home more.
I guess I get that,
yeah. Because X-Men specifically, like, the idea behind it was anybody could be an X-Men.
Yeah.
And it was one of the first comics to really branch out into diversity and stuff.
Yeah.
So, like, even if you felt like an outsider, it really appealed to you as an outsider, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So that was really cool. And then, you know, as a little kid, you, of course, like Spider-Man. So if you're, you know, once again, an outsider, Spider-Man appeals to you because Peter Parker, this spastic nerd.
Yeah, I think that's why Spider-Man was my favorite superhero as a little kid, because he was just some dude instead of a billionaire or an alien or something.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm going to go back to X-Men because it's always my favorite.
Okay.
Not just... I loved it because just the idea of it being a mutation.
Yeah.
Which goes back to anybody could be an X-Men, and which Stan Lee's often talked about. It was like the lazy way out because he didn't feel like creating origin stories for everybody on the team. Which is, if you're going to do a lazy way out, it might as well be a good one.
Yeah, I think that is a good one. Sometimes you just gotta make things concise. And but yeah.
But yeah, I will end my turn.
Okay. I flooped the pig.
I flooped the pig, yes.
So, I get what you mean about the real writing that hits home or whatever. I do feel that Japanese, I haven't read a lot of Japanese books, so I don't want to say Japanese writers in general. But I'll say the writers of manga and even anime but maybe that's because a lot of anime is adapted from manga. But it feels like the writers have a very limited worldview because I think day-to-day life in Japan is so organized and limited for the everyman that like you just don't gain enough perspective living in Japan, maybe.
Yeah.
But my case for manga is, I think, what attracted me to it more. First of all, I just like the art style a lot more. Even though there's no clearly defined manga art style, I mean, you can recognize what is manga, but there's so many different ways to do it. But and there's variety in the art in that way, and there is also variety in the subject material. Whereas I feel in a Western comic book, you're a superhero or you're not in the club.
Yeah.
And you can have manga about like Dragon Ball Z was just a bunch of fucking weird shit that didn't even like make sense. Full Metal Alchemist was like weird steampunk shit, like fantasy shit, like robots. I just felt like there was a whole lot more diversity in the subject matter, the genres. Like you weren't limited to the lens of superhero stories. And I end my turn.
That was a really good case. Like, I had never once thought about the superhero thing, but there are comic books.
How have you never thought about it when it's every comic book?
Well, that's not necessarily true, because American comics isn't just Marvel. Like, you have to look.
Well, it's not. It's not just Marvel and DC. But if it's not Marvel and DC, nobody's heard of it.
Well, that's not necessarily true, because you also have to look at things like Calvin and Hobbes. The Peanuts?
I don't think comic strips classify as comic books.
But it's still American. Archie comics.
Okay. All right.
Which was the story of the American teenager, albeit from like a 1950s perspective.
Right. Man, that's I never thought about that. Archie was actually just a comic book. That's so weird.
Yeah, and there's a lot more like that I've not bothered to fuck with because it doesn't pique my interest. But there's plenty of stories about like murder mystery, and there's the Hellraiser comics. Plenty of comic books based around horror movies. The Puppet Master series, the Hellraiser series.
Those are a lot more niche, though, I guess. But yeah. So you're not completely limited. Like, of course you can go off the beaten path, but it's I guess a lot less like chance of being successful as a comic author or artist in America without a superhero. Which you can do it. I feel like what the scope of comics can be is like growing all the time, especially with the internet and the webcomic era. I've read a lot of interesting webcomics that just would have never been publicized.
Oh, absolutely. The internet's really good for that. But yeah, like I'm looking at Dark Horse's website right now, and I'm seeing like detective stuff, Buffy the Vampire Slayer, How to Train Your Dragon, Legend of Korra, something called Beasts of Burden with just like dogs. So there's plenty of like DuckTales. So yeah.
DuckTales.
There's plenty for everybody, but it's just... I think the reason superheroes resonate more is because it gives children something to look up to.
I think that ties also back into the nostalgia market. Like, it's still just going because people remember it and it's what they grew up with.
Yeah. That's true.
Whereas, like, manga run for a long time. Like, Dragon Ball ran for like 400 years. One Piece is still running. Naruto just ended like a year ago, and like they run forever and then they eventually end. But it's all the same story. It's not like it runs forever and then it's like, let's do Naruto again, but something different happens this time, and let this new guy draw it. And I don't know. There's just too much. Like, there's so much recycling in comic books. I couldn't even think about getting into it because.
Oh yeah, multiversing.
Yeah, multiversing and just like Like, is there a single superhero who doesn't have like at least 5 reincarnations that are kind of the same story?
Oh yes, yeah, that's very true. Like it's just branding.
Yeah, but
like
that's
reintroducing it to the
bad,
next generation.
Like for art, like that's not how art should be produced. It can lead to good things once in a while, but as a rule of thumb, it's like corporatized and gay, and I hate it.
I don't necessarily think it's a horrible thing, because if you were to look at something like original Batman versus The Killing Joke, for example, or like story arcs where the Joker rips off his skin and tacks it to his face and then bullies Harley into doing the same, and then laughs at her and stops her, I think the characters evolving with the times is a good thing, because you're able to take this familiar subject matter and darken it up and evolve it.
Well, yeah, like I said that like good things can come out of a system like that, of course, and I think The Killing Joke is a good example. Like I have not yet read The Killing Joke. I've like glanced at it a few times, but I hear only good things about it. So it's one of those examples, but just like the oversaturation of it all is definitely not good.
Yeah, there is a lot of oversaturation. Like, I'm going back to X-Men. Like, there's just so many story arcs,
It all comes
you
back
know?
to X-Men.
I know, I love X-Men. Like, you got the Jean Grey story arc, and you got the different Wolverine story arcs. I remember a story arc where they went back and to like this dinosaur place. It's been so long, so everybody who's listening is probably making fun of me. But you know, it's just a bunch of different arcs. Like, you can take this group of people, throw them anywhere in the world where there's trouble, and create a story out of it.
Well, that's
or
cool.
Even throw them into
That's
space.
a way to keep
you know,
like a good long running forever thing. But yeah, create a universe like that, and then just like exist in it. Like, you don't have to branch out into timelines and shit. Like, if you wanted to keep X-Men running for 100 years by having like several generations of X-Men, that would is that how they do it? Like,
no.
Okay, all right.
I think they do that,
but not as
like,
much as
there's the old,
because Wolverine sells. Okay,
like,
which I do like Wolverine. He is one of the good superheroes.
Yes. Like, they reboot it, they branch out, they age some of them. It's just, there's a bunch of different arcs and multiverses. It just depends. Okay. It's been a long time.
Yeah.
I'm not as much of a comic book geek as I was in like middle school and high school, so I'm running off old memory.
You let your people down. Yeah, I don't read as much manga as I used to anymore, because animation just appeals to me. So I just watch more anime. But I'm also picky about the anime I consume, because the anime market is full of garbage too, of course.
Absolutely. I feel like anime is starting to... It looked at what Americans liked, turned it to 11, and filled their shows full of stereotypes.
Yeah.
Did I say that correctly? I feel like I did.
Stereotypes?
Yeah, like anime.
Oh, yeah. Another trope you might have been looking... Or a word you might have been looking for was trope?
Yes, that's much better, tropes.
But yeah, anime and manga are famous for being tropey all to hell. Like, just like throwing in... Like, I think I would probably say that a lot of Western comics like have better character writing, because anime and manga protagonists and even like every character is just like, okay, we need a such and such character, and they're not even like bashful about it. They just pick like a fucking a trope. Like there's just a list of kinds of anime characters, and they're like, we need a such and such. We need a tsundere over here. We need a fucking... I can't think of them all right now, but you know what I'm getting at. So...
Yeah, I know what you're getting at.
So I would say the character writing in most manga sucks.
I've not watched enough and read enough to really comment on it. Like, I'm just going through the ones that everybody universally says, yes, you should watch that. Like the life-changing ones, I haven't dug deep.
Which life-changing ones?
You know, like, just FMA, Neon Genesis, shit like that.
Well,
the ones everybody
I'm so
talks
surprised.
about.
Like last time, wasn't it you found out that Neon Genesis Evangelion was originally an anime and that the manga adaptation is an adaptation?
You know what? That is just so against the stereotype that it shocked me.
Well, I mean, that's the way Gainax does it, and Evangelion was a Gainax show. They make a lot of original anime productions, especially mech shows, that just get so popular that, like, of course, if they make a manga adaptation, just slap it out real quick, then people are going to buy that for the just because it's like part of the culture or whatever with the original work. But Evangelion was written and made for animation, and I think it served its purpose much better there.
Yeah.
Gurren Lagann is another famous example. It was an original anime, and a lot of anime has terrible pacing. Gurren Lagann is paced very well, and it fucking, it was just designed for movement, and so putting it in a comic book didn't work as much. Where the fuck was I going with that point?
I don't know. It's late.
I end my turn.
Fair enough. Something else I'd like to mention about American comic books is if you do it correctly, it's extremely consumer friendly. So what Marvel does is they'll take a story arc and they'll bundle it together, and you can purchase it for $20 to $25, and you get a couple hundred pages of story. All the comic books in the story is within that book. So, like, you don't have collector's value, but what you have is a compressed story. All of it's there. You get to enjoy the art, and you save a bit of money and save wasted time, honestly. And I think DC does that, and Dark Horse might, but I'm not sure because I've not bought from them.
Right. I feel like I like Dark Horse. I feel like I don't know. Like I said, I haven't read that many American comic books, but I feel like Dark Horse, they are the ones that are like into publishing the non-superhero stuff, right? Like,
yes, unless you count Hellboy.
Yeah, which I mean, of course, there's some superhero stuff in Dark Horse, but I think it feels like they make a point to diversify their content.
They do.
Which I appreciate. GG Dark Horse, good for you.
They used to do Star Wars, but unfortunately Disney bought that out.
Oh hell!
Trying to take away the Star Wars. Oh well.
Rest in fucking peace,
Disney.
I guess.
Yeah, is what it is.
It is what it is, my dude.
Like, Disney is one of those corporate empires that I just despise. Fuck them for buying Marvel right off the bat. It's whatever.
Yeah. It's all about money anymore. I feel like it's good that media is so just a part of our lives now. And it's like being into like superhero movies and comic books and anime is not like so socially frowned upon anymore. But like it makes it such a, when it becomes that big of a market, corporate greed is going to end up controlling way too much of it. And that is like the complete like antithesis of artistic expression. They're just two things which are so in conflict with one another that to see them meld in this way it just feels gross. It
does. Like the way I see it, like observing it, I feel like they figured out the most effective strategy available, or the meta for story writing, or storyboarding or whatever, and they just meta their story, compress the hero's journey, and pump it out because it sells.
Yeah, which of course there needs to be some structure to storytelling, but like, well, maybe not so much that there should be structure, but I think it came about that after, a few thousand years of telling stories, people eventually like discovered the inherent structure of good stories. Some guys looked at all the stories and they're like, wait a minute, it does this and this because that's what works as a story. And whoever discovered and wrote down the hero's journey, I don't know, everything went to hell from there because people started using it as a rule. And they were like, as long as I follow this fucking outline, I did it. And it's important to study it, I guess, but like, and you know, they teach it in school for writing classes and all that, but it's like, it's good to recognize it, but we shouldn't like let ourselves be so beholden to things like that. Like, maybe we need to break out a little bit and make something fucking weird.
Yeah, like I'm always the one who feels like I should throw a rock through throw a rock through. Jesus Christ, it's 9:39. Throw a rock through any sort of conventional meta for creation. Mm-hmm. Like, just be different for the sake of being different, you know?
Right. Which
Whether
is like, if you go too
or
hard in that direction, then it just comes off as obnoxious. But
yeah,
there's balance. There's a balance in everything. Like, do something different, but don't be like a asshole about it.
Yeah, like, I think there's some like, I enjoy the idea of being avant-garde.
Yeah.
But if you make it too avant-garde,
I just like, whenever I hear that, I like cringe a little bit, just because of, like I said, the avant-garde assholes.
Yeah. Like,
that was
I think there's a right
rude.
and a wrong way to do it. Like, if you have an artistic vision and you're passionate about it and you do it and 7 people like it, then I think it's okay. But if you're just trying to be avant-garde for the sake of being avant-garde, I think it's kind of silly.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
And I guess
not because you have an artistic thing you want to make, and it's because you're an avant-garde dude, but because you want to like be perceived as an avant-garde dude.
Yeah, and I feel like you can tell when it's organic and when it's not.
Some people can tell. Like, I don't know. A lot of people get tricked by, I don't know. Like, there's that age-old argument to be made. Like, is it bad art if so many people like it? Like, you know, which is something, like, I feel people say in defense of, like, we talked about how corporatized and, like, terrible the MCU is, the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and how much we hate it. But it's like, it's the most popular thing in the world right now. So people are like, well, does it fucking suck if most of the world thinks it's great?
I think the meta storytelling gets on my nerves. Like, you can predict what's going to happen from the moment you sit down.
Yeah, of course.
And it just gets on my nerves because I'd like a good tragedy.
Oh yeah.
If that makes sense. Yeah. You know, I want to see the bad guy win sometimes. And I think it would make for good storytelling.
Yeah.
Like,
that's why I liked
the new
Rogue
Avengers?
One. I haven't seen, but I want to talk about Rogue One for a minute, because a good tragedy is always, you know, I feel like Rogue One worked because it like broke away from, like, it didn't want to hold on to anything. It was like it was this compact story. It was the story about what is right here, right now. It was within the Star Wars universe, which is fine. So spin-off, that's fine, because it's still kind of its own unique thing in a way. And it was like, we want to tell the story of what happens right here in this time from beginning to end, and then let it die. And that's exactly what happened. Spoilers for Rogue One, by the way. You can infer what I'm talking about. And then compare that to episode 7. I haven't watched episode 8 yet, but it's like episode 7 was afraid. And spoilers for episode 7 of Star Wars, but I'm just gonna fucking... You've had time to click away by now, but when Han Solo dies, like, that didn't hit home as hard, because, like, you can tell, like, you can smell it, you can see it. You're like, that was just a calculated move. You're not writing a tragedy. You're making a calculated media ploy, like, to get people talking about this movie. Nobody, like, I felt fucking nothing. I felt nothing, like, when Han Solo died, because I've seen behind the curtain, and you're not even hiding it.
Sadly, 4chan ruined the Han Solo thing for me.
Did you get spoiled ahead of time?
I got spoiled on 4chan.
I didn't, but I want you to know the experience would not have been different from you, because I went and watched episode 7 totally blind, and felt nothing.
What baffles me about episode 7 is I didn't realize a movie franchise could plagiarize itself. Fucking blew my mind.
Yeah.
Hell, I respect them for figuring out a way to plagiarize itself. Honestly,
I think a good example of that is Metal Gear, like a way to do it right. Like episode 7, I don't know. Like I never watched episode 8. Maybe in episode 8 they give like a super meta reason for having done it. But like, I'm gonna spoil Metal Gear. I'm gonna spoil everything today. I'm gonna spoil Metal Gear Solid 1 and 2. So you play through Metal Gear Solid 1, right? And it's like cool, like that was its own concise story. And then you play through Metal Gear Solid 2 as a different character, and you find out at the game structure is very similar, and all the things that happen in Metal Gear Solid 2 are very similar to the way they were structured in Metal Gear Solid 1. And you find out at the end, you're going through, the bad guys have set up this like whole thing to be a simulation of what happened in Metal Gear Solid 2 to recreate, or what happened in the first game to recreate certain circumstances. And it was super meta, because you get in there and you start playing and you're like, oh yeah, like what happened in 1, and it just seems like lazy game structure and writing. And then it's like we did it on purpose. We plagiarized our own work to fuck with you, and it gets really trippy at the end of the game.
Oh wow,
yeah.
That's weird.
Yeah, Metal Gear Solid loves breaking the fourth wall and just fucking with your head.
That I've never played them.
You'll like them. They're simultaneous. I think I said this in a previous episode when it came up, but Metal Gear Solid is simultaneously the best and worst written story ever. And there is no way to like parse what the fuck I mean by that until you experience it.
That might just be a stealth game thing, because I've been playing Thief.
Yeah.
And wrap your head around this. In the beginning, there was a trickster god and a god of order.
Okay.
The god of order,
Shegorath and Jigalag.
So the god of order's followers are called the Hammerites,
right.
And they build shit and carry around these big ass sledgehammers,
cool.
and enact justice. And the pagans worship this trickster god down in the sewer and just fuck with people and create Lovecraftian horrors. And the third faction is the Keepers. I'm not 100% sure what they do, because I've not beaten the first one yet. But like, they're a stealthy organization that like does shit in the shadows, and it's the stupidest fucking lore in the world. But it's such a good fucking game. And I just hate the damn Hammerites, because the makers might be upon you, and they hit you with a fucking sledgehammer.
Okay.
So stupid.
I didn't really follow that too much, but I'm sorry you got hit with a hammer, dude.
It's fine.
Okay. But yeah, play Metal Gear Solid. Like, the stealth game is not bad, but like I would say the main draw is the story, which is like I said, also like it's the gameplay is not bad. Like, don't think it's just like I'll just play for the story. Like the gameplay it holds up, but the story is the main focal point, and the game. I didn't say the game was good and bad, because one thing, like, the story is good but the gameplay is bad. Like, no, the story itself is good and bad. It's terrible and great, and it's so tropey and stupid, and it gets like so edgelord. And then there's like, I don't know. It's self-aware and not. It's self-aware, very self-aware at times, and then so tropey at other times. And Hideo Kojima is just some like weird sex robot that escaped and like from Japan, and like its AI is broken, and he's like, I'm gonna make James Bond, like Mecha Gundam the anime.
Wow. I got a hard copy of 1 and 5, which I think I said on a previous.
You did, yeah. We were
as
talking
well.
about playing them together.
And I just pulled it up, and sadly they're not on Steam, but I think they're on PS3 store, and I have a PS3, so I'll look into that.
You have a PS3?
I do.
Well, then we can get 4 for cheap, and I've got all the other games. As long as you've got a PS3, we can play 4, which is not going to be expensive. So I've got all the other games besides 4, but we can get that for like $15.
Fucking-
So just literally come to my house and we'll play Metal Gear Solid.
It sounds fun. Alright, so what's your argument for the manga?
Of Metal Gear Solid? What do you...
This week's topic.
Oh. Are we still talking about that? I lost track.
Yeah,
where did we leave off on that conversation?
So, I talked about meta
Oh.
in storytelling, and that's a problem right now in the American media and comics.
Yeah.
And
I addressed there is like a very fucking structured way of doing manga as well. And, they have the tropey characters, and they're literally cookie cutter, and you can compare them all. Like, it's gotten to the point where, like, a character of a certain archetype usually has the same hair color in every show. And,
yes.
like, all the, like, I think it's Kudere, maybe, is the certain kind of character, but Rei Ayanami from Evangelion was supposed to be the first one of those, and, like, everybody ripped Hideaki Anno off. And took that, like, and just ran with it and made it this meme. And, like, Anno's rolling in his grave. I know he's not dead, but he's rolling in his grave anyway because he hates you motherfuckers for doing that. But it's like every anime you see nowadays has, like, a red-eyed, white-haired, emotionless, cute girl.
Yes.
And that's become a trope just because Evangelion was popular and people liked Rei Ayanami, and now like we've got at least 800 more that are nothing like the original but just have the aesthetic and like surface level what you could see without actually thinking about what made her character that way.
Yes. So, I feel like we have proven that meta money ruins stories.
It ruins art. It ruins art in general. Like, just corporatizing and commercializing art. Like, of course, artists need to make money, but when it becomes such a market, then like it's people who aren't artists become too involved with it.
Yeah, that's such a corporate versus creators. That's such a devilish thing.
Yeah.
Insert cliche joke about EA.
I don't even fuck with EA games anymore, man. Like,
I don't either.
None of them even appeal to me. Like, I see a trailer and I'm like, oh, hey, another fucking whatever the shit.
The only good thing EA has done in the past 15 years is sold the rights to a game made in the 80s back to its original owner, which allowed him to make Wasteland 2 and 3.
Okay.
Which, incidentally, it was Wasteland 1. So what happened was Brian Fargo went to EA and said, hey, I want to buy Wasteland back. And they're like, yeah, we've sat on this for 20-some years. We're not doing anything with it.
Well...
And he got the game he made back, and he has the rights to it again.
That's great.
Yeah.
It's kind of weird that they would do that, but... I mean, good on them for that one thing ever, but...
That one thing. Fucking Wasteland was the OG of the Apocalypse video games. And the only reason Fallout 1 was created was because he couldn't get Wasteland 2 off the ground. Like, he couldn't get the rights for it. So, yeah. We have Todd Howard. We can blame Todd Howard on Brian Fargo.
How about a standing ovation for God Coward?
Yeah, God Coward. Where am I going with this? I'm sleepy.
Yeah, I'm sorry to keep you up late, man. We got started really late because I was, when we had started, I had just run through the door and set up my mic and everything.
Yes.
I was out of town all weekend, and I was like, oh, we got fucking time to get back before recording. We'll get there right on time. I don't know why I fucking thought like we wouldn't stop 8 times, because we never do when it doesn't matter if we're gonna be late. But if I got somewhere to be, like, we end up taking 8 detours and like, oh man, I got shit, and it's like, then I just stop for shit. It's like, and we get down the road and somebody else has got a shit, and that's duh.
Like, and my big thing is, I went to bed at 7 yesterday.
7 p.m.
And ended up getting,
or
yes.
What the fucking hell? If you would have said 7 a.m., I would have understood. I could have supported you, but it's just
what
gross.
happens is I've gotten 4 hours of sleep every night, 4 to 6 hours of sleep every night for the past week.
Okay.
And my body said, you know what? It's time for you to get 13 hours of sleep. And I went to bed at 7 and got up at 8:30. And
disgusting.
I felt great all day. I've gotten I learned how to play StarCraft 2.
Congratulations.
Amazing game.
Okay.
I still haven't completely learned it. It's hard as hell. I've gotten laundry done. I've cleaned the house.
I've done fuck all today, dude. I got up, I dicked around for a little while. I ate a couple of burgers because we had this big cookout yesterday at my parents' house, and they had like, oh my god, did you know meat is super cheap back home? They got a pack of 25 steaks, like nice looking, big, fat, red marbled steaks. 25 of them for like $25.50 from that cash saver store.
That ain't bad. That ain't bad.
Yeah. That ain't bad. Yeah. Not bad at all. So there was 25 steaks and like 18 burgers, and there was only like 6 people. I don't know what was going on with that. So we all ate way too much, and that's why everybody had to shit on the drive home that I was talking about a minute ago.
Yeah. You say everybody. How many people did you drive back to Georgetown?
2.
Okay. Including yourself?
No.
Who's with you?
No, it was me and B.
Fair
Including myself.
Man, I made some boss fucking pork chops today.
I'm not into pork chops, man.
Really?
They're just dry. They don't taste as good as any other meat. They don't provide any good nutrition like other meat does. Why eat a pig? Like, what's the point?
Fucking, let me tell you. I got this sauce I found online. I made this sauce.
Okay.
Fucking, I slow cooked it for 30 minutes. Flipped them.
Right.
Added another dose of sauce.
I do like roasted pork, but
they were swimming in it.
Oh.
Took 45 minutes to cook it all together. Toasted some buns, threw some cheese on it, some tomatoes.
Oh.
10 out of 10.
Okay. All right, you sold me.
10. Yeah, I'll send you the recipe if you want it.
Yeah, maybe.
Fair enough. It's good sauce. It's real good sauce.
Yeah. Give me some of that good sauce, Daddy.
No.
And that concludes this week's episode of ClapTrap.
Oh man, God, you know what? I could just sit here and talk about food for the next hour.
Yeah. I don't want to talk about food. I said, I've been eating all weekend, and like, I don't want to think about eating anymore. I want to think about, like, I'm probably gonna go on a fruit cleanse starting tomorrow and hit the gym harder than ever.
A fruit cleanse?
Yeah, you never done that?
No.
After you've stuffed yourself full of like awful things, like cake and burgers and pizza and shit, and you can't get back to feeling better, it's good to do a fruit cleanse, which is where you do nothing but eat fruit and drink water for like 1 to 3 days, and it completely cleans you out.
What I do is I drink a lot of coffee. I graze on whatever I can throughout the week, and I work manual labor in the sun.
And has that gotten you your 6-pack abs yet?
No. But I feel healthy.
Well, okay. Yeah, exercise is very important, but, you know.
Mm-hmm. I don't know. I'm probably slowly gaining weight, because during the weekend I eat like trash. I lay around.
Yeah.
But
I know. You've got a penchant for frozen chicken nuggets, I believe. Correct?
Oh god, all that frozen chicken. You know, it took us so damn long. Okay, story time. So, my mom, my mother-in-law, and myself bought a decent supply of chicken all around the same time, completely ignorant to the other two parties doing the same thing.
Okay.
I showed it to you, remember?
Yeah, yeah. Your freezer was like packed to the gills with chicken. Like it was an alarming amount of chicken for any like. And I know it's just you and your wife there, so like
yes.
for a full household that would have been way too much chicken.
I just a couple months ago managed to finish it off.
Christ, that was like a year ago. You showed me all that chicken.
Yeah, I know.
What the fuck?
And it was. I'm bored of chicken. Like, I just didn't even buy any other meats. Like, this is the first pork I've had in so damn long.
I do eat mostly chicken. Like I eat a lot of chicken and salmon. I got burned out on salmon bad though, but like need to get like, oh my god, just so much like salmon a few times a week. I don't know. Like it doesn't. It's got more of a distinct flavor, I guess, than chicken. Chicken is good to eat all the time because it doesn't have as much of a distinct flavor. But I got kind of burned out on salmon. But fish is so good for you.
Do you have a crock pot?
I do, but we never use it. I just eat like baked chicken and baked salmon, sometimes pan fried.
Okay. Tell you something. I'm gonna teach you how to make some good salmon, some good fish.
Why would you put salmon in a crock pot? It falls apart no matter how you cook it.
It's so good.
Like if I'm afraid if I put it in a crock pot, it would dissolve.
It doesn't. Trust me.
Okay.
So you take your aluminum foil.
Okay.
And then you put your salmon in your foil.
Okay.
You put about a half an inch of olive oil in there. Season it however you want to.
Lemon.
Before the olive oil.
Lemon pepper every time.
And then you wrap it up. You compress it so that oil can't get out. It gets out every time, but you want to try.
Right, of course.
Stick it in there. Put it on low heat. Just leave it there for a few hours. It's the best fucking fish I've ever had.
Well, what's so good about it? Because the point of slow cooking things is to tenderize them right, and I've never... Like, fried fish falls apart. Like,
it's so weird. Like, it's not oily. It tastes moist, but not greasy. The trick is the olive oil. Don't use any other form of oil.
Okay.
And it enhances the flavor in some way. Like, it cranks that shit to 11. And it's just so tender.
All right.
And you're right, you do...
I guess it's time to pull the old crock pot out and start trying things with it.
Now, like you said, it does crumble. Like, it holds its shape.
But it becomes kind of a mushy lump.
Not necessarily. Like, it holds its shape, and you can take it off and put it on the plate in one piece.
Huh.
But once you get to cutting into it, you best be using a spoon.
Wow.
Because it holds itself together, but it's just that tender and soft.
That almost sounds gross.
I'm gonna have to make it for you.
Okay, come on up, man. We'll cook. We'll cook salmon and play Metal Gear.
That sounds so much fun.
Yeah.
God, this podcast.
Come on up
sucks.
before I'm thinking about moving away. Actually, recently, like some things are going on in my life. So,
where are you going?
I'm thinking about going back home.
Why?
We'll talk more about that afterwards. But
okay, fair enough.
Yeah, just come up while you still can, man.
Yeah. Oh God. Okay, we'll talk about this after the podcast.
Yeah. Make a note of it.
Yeah. Pull up a sticky note.
So
what time?
We started talking about food for a minute. Do we want to just continue with that? Because I don't know, or because I don't know if we can get back into our previous topic.
Yeah, I've noticed the trend for these is we get on topic for about 30 to 40 minutes, branch off to something else.
Yeah, we're at like 45-ish right now, 44 or something.
And then about this, yeah, I'm at about 44, just at 45.
Okay, you're a couple seconds.
And it's usually about Alright, that's fine. I can fix it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's about this time we talk about our third topic. So, with this podcast, I have a lot of vision.
A lot of what?
Vision, creative vision.
I thought you said a lot of issues. I was like, oh no, are you breaking up with me?
Why would I break up with you?
You're my whole world.
You suck. You suck just enough to stay with.
That's pretty gay, dog.
That is very gay.
So tell me about your vision for the podcast then.
I have an idea. So I want to cut out, once I get really good at cutting out the middle audio, and we get good at creating silence around us, I'd like to do a third track of a campfire and outside noises.
Okay. You know what we should do in terms of that, actually? I like that. I like that idea a lot. But maybe not always a campfire. Maybe something that relates to the subject matter in some way.
Well, that's just a special, like a one-off thing.
Oh, okay.
Like we could do ghost stories or something.
And have a campfire sound. And owls and shit.
Yep.
Okay, cool. Oh, man, we should totally do one on ghosts.
Yeah, we could.
Oh, man, I'd get really meta into my, like, concept of spirituality then. Because I feel like for most people who do a podcast about ghosts, they're like, I don't believe in ghosts, but here's a spooky thing that happened to me. But I'm like, I do believe in ghosts, and here is the science of the spiritual realm.
And then, our listeners don't know about me.
Would you like to let them know right now? Or do you want to save it for a special occasion?
I'll save it for our Halloween.
Oh!
We could do this for Halloween.
Alright, we're going to. We're totally... Yeah. Alright. My audio just spiked a lot when I did that. Oh.
I'm so excited now. It's going to be so good. But with this one, we have to prep. We have to, like, write it all out.
Write it all out. I don't know about that. I don't want it to feel like... I don't want to do anything scripted, but I'll do a lot of prepping for, like, things I want to say, if you want to do the same.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like, I want to write down the titles of all my stories, so I can...
I definitely don't have as many as you, so maybe we'll put in places where I can interject with my limited spiritual experiences, or maybe I can start us out. I'll tell my ghost stories first to get everybody primed and ready with something only kind of spooky before Zed opens the... Before Zed, like, rips the Overton curtain off the wall and shows you what lies beyond.
Yeah, I'll fill in the last hour and 15 minutes, don't worry.
Is that all? Oh, man.
But, yeah. It's just... Christ. It should be a lot of fun. Oh, that's going to be a good Halloween special. I love holiday specials. I'm a big dork like that.
Yeah. What are we going to do for Christmas? Not a holiday that speaks to you as much as Halloween.
No, I love Christmas. I just don't know what to do. A Twitch stream.
Oh. You think we'll have enough of a viewer base by that point?
No, but we could do a video instead of a audio thing.
We could just do that anyway. Pre-record it, but use a camera.
Okay, cool. And, like, I know on OBS there's, like, snow falling and stuff. And what we can do is we can take... you know the cardboard stock at Walmart?
Yeah. We
can spend all of $5 on green cardboard stock and build a green screen.
Okay, cool. We'll craft some shitty fucking movie, Zed and T's Christmas Adventure.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever. We'll talk about that later, but I'm excited about our Halloween special for now.
Yeah, it's mostly just gonna be a lot of fucking audio work.
Yeah.
It's probably gonna take 4 or 5 days for me to edit that.
Yeah.
But I think it'll be worth it. I would go as far as to say we may need to record that a week ahead of time, or 2 weeks ahead of time.
Yeah. We can do that.
Mm-hmm.
How we could pick a weekend where we record on like Saturday and then record on Sunday as well or something.
Yeah, we could do that.
All right. Were you starting to talk about something else we wanted to get into right now though? I feel like you started to make a point and then like we diverged somewhere.
I don't know. I don't know, man. It's so late.
It's not that relaxed. Late, dude. I guess it's late if you got up at 8 in the morning, but
like I usually get up. Like, let's talk about my work week for a second.
Okay.
I get up at 5 o'clock on some mornings, and on some mornings I get up at 6 o'clock. It just depends on the workload that day. And I usually go to bed around midnight. So, to the viewer, I am a very daytime person. Although I prefer to be up at night. Trent, on the other hand, is nocturnal because his job says you work at night.
I would rather be a day person. Like I would always stay up very late when I was living at home, and like I worked part-time or whatever and just sleep when I wanted to. But working night shift has made me value the daylight so much. I would rather be getting up at like 7 and like anywhere between 6. Like, hell, 5. I get up at 5 in the morning and just like, nothing's better than watching the sun come up, dude.
Yeah.
I used to pull all-nighters just to watch the sun come up.
That's amazing. Yeah. Fucking... You should...
And when you pull all-nighters, you can watch the sun come up drunk and it's not weird.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
You should, instead of moving to Harlan, you should move to Georgetown and get a job on grounds and then miss your factory job.
Do what?
You should...
Oh, you said move to Georgetown. Did you mean Barberville?
Oh, Barberville, yes.
I was like, I already took step 1. What's step 2?
Move to Barberville, get a job on grounds crew, and then miss your factory job.
Well, see, I would do that, but I think I'm making a little bit more money than they would pay me.
It's $8.72 an hour if you're full time.
What the fuck, dude?
Or $8.71 an hour for sunburns, poison. I've been sent to the ER before because of poison ivy, and I'm going to tell this story. So I was tasked with ripping some vines that had grown through the fence, and I forgot that there was fluffy poison ivy, which is a vine that's covered in brown fur.
Oh, poison vine.
And
yeah.
Yes.
Which is different from the leaf version, but it's a lot worse, right?
Yes, when I was tearing it off, I got it in my eyes, and then I went and took a piss. This sent me to the ER.
Yes, it said poison vine can fucking kill you. Oh my god. And there's this log that's been sitting in our yard for like kind of off to the side, so it's not totally in the way, but it's been there for like 8 years, and my dad won't move it because he got really bad poison vine one time. He's like, I just don't even want to fuck with it.
Like, my eyes were swelling shut, and my nose were swelling shut, and my junk was on fire.
Oh my god, dude.
Now,
I know that just
4 days.
I feel like if that happened to me, like I would have to just cut my penis off. Like it would just shrivel up and fall.
Well, I had came up to your house, and you got to see my pain.
Oh my god, that was what you were coming down from? Yeah, okay.
Yes.
You said you got in poison ivy. You didn't tell me you got in poison vine. Oh my god. Yeah,
it was the vine shit. Yeah, but it was so good because I had this English teacher who was super fucking... He's so full of himself intellectually.
A lot of English teachers are, I've found.
And so what he did was he had an attendance policy. So he's like, you've been over your attendance policy, you young man. So I struck a deal with him.
If you call me young man in college, you can fuck right off.
But I struck a deal with him to where if I provide doctor excuses for the over days and like write something, then I could pass the class. So what I got to do is write an essay about my ball sack. And give it to him. And you know what? I made a fucking C.
Are you saying that as like, look how good I did, or like, look how poorly I did? Like,
I think he gave me a C to spite me. Like, I did fine in the class, but he's just He's one of those.
Was it a good essay about a ball sack?
It was a good thick paragraph with a hospital note. I wanted that man to read about my ball sack as just revenge for him being a prick.
Fair enough.
Yep.
I'd read a whole book about your ball sack.
I still have the essay if you want to
read
it.
I definitely want to read it. Do you want to read it out loud right now, live on television?
I have it put away.
I have it. It's in storage.
It really is, though. I've already started packing.
Okay. I guess that's good.
Yeah. It's amazing. Christ. What even is? What even is? What doth life? Have you ever seen Xavier Renegade?
I've seen a few episodes, and I remember seeing it and thinking, wow, Zed would like this show.
I've seen almost all of it at this point, and there's several episodes that I've rewatched. It is fucking amazing.
You should probably kill yourself.
You know...
Let's do a suicide episode.
That's not.
Oh.
That goes too home with me. That goes way too home with me. I got that light. You know whenever it's like super late at night and you get that high from being sleepy?
Yeah. Yeah.
I got that going on. And I'm like buzzed out of my mind.
I am not there yet. Oh yeah, I need to publicize last week's episode. Shit.
Yeah. You've not uploaded it, have you?
It's been a weekend, okay?
Has it?
Yes, it has. Okay, I've been traveling and working on commissions.
An entire Saturday and Sunday went by. Yes, it has been a weekend.
Why don't you eat my rectum?
You know what? Fucking get it out for me, and I'll think about it.
All right, come up to my house. We'll make slow cooker salmon, play Metal Gear, and you can eat my asshole. This still sounds like a lot of fun.
For the salmon, I think it's worth it.
Okay.
For the salmon, I think
You'll have a fishy taste in your mouth anyway. Yuck.
Ew.
I killed him, ladies and
my
gentlemen.
God. No, Trent, I will not eat your ass.
Better luck next time. Do you want to just go to bed? I think this is good enough for an episode.
I'm going to be real with you, Trent. As soon as we get off here, I'm going to play StarCraft.
I'm going to play Minecraft. My friends recently started a Minecraft server. And apparently the big HQ building we had burned to the ground. I'm seeing messages in chat which are very concerning. I'm glad I moved all my stuff onto a nearby mountaintop. That's whatever. Nobody wants to hear me talk about Minecraft.
Talk about it. This is ClapTrap. It doesn't matter anymore.
It doesn't matter anymore. Nobody is listening. Nobody is listening.
Yeah.
They've apparently actually updated the game a lot. Like they've added a lot of stuff to underwater. Mm-hmm. Like there's dynamic water now that changes colors depending on biomes. Swimming makes more sense. You can dive and rise faster, and you don't sink. Mm-hmm. And items don't sink. And fish are just there. You can just swim up to a fish and kill it with a sword. And there's sunken boats you can find with treasure in them, stuff like that. It's neat.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
I've played Minecraft on and off here and there. Like I never can.
Oh, you were never like really into it?
No. Well, when I first got to college, I got a Xbox 360 copy of it.
Uh-huh.
And I tore it up. And I later got a PC copy of it to play with some friends, but I I don't know. I feel like my time with Minecraft has passed.
You always feel like that, but it's like when you revisit the game, it like rekindles it for you, man. Like, I'll get so burned out. Like, I'll get into Minecraft and I'll like be obsessed with it for months and months, and then I'll get burned out and not play it for months and months, and I just have to wait for it to come back. Because have you played like with friends before?
Yeah, on and off.
I don't know. With the right people, it's a lot of fun, but it's also a good solitary experience. That was most of my time with Minecraft. Was like a solid. It was like such a meditation thing for me.
It really was, though. Like, I love nothing more than going into a world by myself and just exploring it, because it feels so.
I'm more into the building aspect of it, like just like making an empire, like a big mansion and like a stupidly large farm. And a thing I like to do is find a bunch of villages and build roadways and map out like the whole continent I'm on.
I don't know. I've always just loved exploration in games.
Yeah, I should write down the topics again. So let's see. We're on comic books, food, Minecraft.
Yeah.
Okay. What a mess.
What a mess. How about fucking SoundCloud cucking us like that?
Yeah, I can't believe, like, I had never fucked with SoundCloud because, like, well, I never did podcasts and I'm not a musician, but I didn't know you had to start paying for it after you uploaded so much time. Which we did in one episode.
Holy crap. What is all this?
What?
I don't know what this is, but apparently our SoundCloud has a bunch of notifications on it.
Oh, did we get a lot of followers, or did we do something bad?
I think we got followers.
Oh no. Oh no, now we've got to pay for No?
We have something. It still says we have notifications. What is this?
Are you okay, dude?
I'm okay. I just don't know what this means. Logan's Jolin, Larry Soda. 2 followers, 42 minutes. It might be plays. Or likes. I think it's likes.
Oh, okay.
No? I don't know. I don't
Alright,
know.
does it matter?
It doesn't matter, as long as they click that Twitter link. Oh, how many we have 4 subscribers on YouTube now.
Oh, really? That's awesome.
It must be from that. Yeah, I wonder if we have any new Twitter followers.
I don't think so. I haven't been checking it though.
I occasionally check it, but I don't obsess over it.
Yeah.
Nope, still at 3. Still at 3. We are building a fucking...
I'm pretty sure our Twitter followers are you, me, and my girlfriend.
Yeah, it's you, me, and Bailey.
Yeah.
Oh, Lord. God.
I'm not seeing the video.
Go to YouTube.
Oh, really?
I'll just...
Yeah, just link me it. Do we want to talk about anything else? We're kind of just this is boring. Like, nobody wants to hear this. Like,
nobody wants to hear
this. Yeah, do we want to get into something people would listen to, or have we fizzled out and, like, we should just die now?
I feel fizzled out.
Okay, you want to wrap up the episode for us? Like, this was kind of a disappointing one, but we'll come back strong next time.
We'll come back strong next week with your topic.
Oh my God, I have to pick a topic, don't I?
You do.
I have not been thinking about one.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Pick something better than currency.
I'm looking at a book that I've got sitting on my desk to prop up my microphone. It's one of my most prized books. And it is the Complete World Encyclopedia of Knives, Swords, Spears, and Daggers.
Ooh.
And so next week's topic is weaponry.
Weaponry. Now this we can talk about.
Yes. All right. Send us home, Zed.
Fucking, if you made it this far, put it in the comments. 7432.
With the
Show us your love.
With the confirmation code gimmick, dude. I can't, like, that's so creative, and you invented it all yourself, and like that's.
I did, and it's amazing.
Yeah.
I'm so good.
We haven't got a confirmation code in the comments yet.
No, but that's okay. That's okay. You know what? We are getting views. We are getting subscribers, and we're growing. We're growing together, our community. That being said, I'm going to send us off with a special thank you to everybody. Fucking piss ants.